Hey guys, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Monday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. If you're new around here, this is the daily update that we do on, at least on days that we work. And I talk about what we did, what we accomplished, struggles that we may have had, etc. in our little VW restoration shop here in Orange, California. So why don't we dive right in and get started? So the other mechanic named Rafa, if you're new here. So there's two mechanics, myself and Rafa, and then there's a couple paint and body guys, Rene and Raul, and upholstery guy, Santiago, and a part-time guy, Jacob, that helps us out. And so yeah, that's a team. Anyway, so let's start with Rafa, as I usually do. So he spent a couple hours on this one, actually. So this car is basically done. We're putting miles on it, and there's always little things that come up. So one thing that we noticed with this car was just even like moving it around, because obviously our shop is pretty small, so a lot of cars need to go outside during the day for us to even be able to work in here. And so moving this car around, we noticed that turning left, it had a very wide turning radius. And not sure how, because usually we're very careful to like center the steering boxes, etc. when we put cars together, but somehow on this one, it wasn't really centered that well. And so the steering was like running out of steering box going to the left before, it really made like a full left turn. And so, Rafa pretty much pulled the tie rods off and everything else, recentered the steering box itself, and then put everything back together with everything basically going straight. And so now there's half the steering is left, half is right, and it seems pretty balanced in that way. So yeah, it's just one of those little things that I don't know. Anyway, it happens. So yeah, this is that is taken care of now. That was probably the last little thing on this car other than more miles. So yeah, he worked on that for a while, and then same thing kind of with the barn door. So this car is done, except I was going to go and synchronize the carburetors today. Let's go ahead and pop this thing open, because it is lovely, if I do say so. Yeah, there we go. So I was gonna synchronize the carburetors today and some stuff like that, and we noticed a little bit of fuel leak on the fuel pump and a little bit of moisture back here at the valve, so fuel moisture. And so went ahead and so Rafa basically had to siphon all the gas out of the tank and then remove the fuel tap down here and do whatever he did to fix that leak. And then same thing here. I think he pulled both the inlet and the outlet from the fuel pump and worked his magic to get those. They weren't bad, but again, no fuel leak is obviously the goal here. So yeah, he tested it out and they seem fine, but we need to put some more miles on this bus, so we'll see. And then probably tomorrow then I will go ahead and pull the air cleaners and synchronize the carburetors left to right and do some stuff like that. So the car's got probably 150 miles on it now, maybe, give or take. We put 100 on it the weekend of Octo and Revival, and then we've probably put another, 50 or so on it, just test driving it and stuff like that. So yeah, probably up to about 150 miles. So yeah, I want to go through and synchronize the carburetors and so on, because this bus could be leaving for Hawaii, which is of course where the owner lives, as early as like the end of this week. So just want to check and fine tune a few little things like that before it heads out to the great state of Hawaii. So anyway, yeah, Rafa took care of those fuel leaks this morning. And then he turned his attention to this beauty here, this gorgeous 68 Ghia. And he did some fun stuff. Always fun to put on stuff that makes a big visual difference. And so today he installed the grills here, which of course have seals on them. And he installed the nose badge. Super gorgeous, guys. Look at that, which also has a seal on it. So there you go. And let's see, I think those are the main things he did on this car. There may have been another, oh no, I know what it was, like semi-major-ish, I suppose. He installed the knee guard, I don't know, knee pad, I suppose it's called, I think it's called, on the lower end of the dash. So on these cars that have a padded top dash, they also have a pad on the bottom, which I guess keeps you from injuring your knees if you ram them into the underside of the dash. So yeah, he installed that too. So again, all the dash pads and the faux wood and stuff, really kind of a pain in the ass on these cars, guys, to be totally honest with you. However, it looks freaking amazing. Super gorgeous. So just wait until the gauges and everything are in here. It's going to look sick, guys. So very excited with how this car is coming together. It is a beauty. So I think that takes care of Rafa's day. So how about my day? I pretty much started the day off with the white 64 here, which is the car that we put a new motor and rebuilt and re-geared the transmission for. So I took it today on what I like to call the torture test, which is an 18-mile drive around Orange and Anaheim hills, and emphasize the hills there because there are some very steep, very long hills that I like to take cars on to kind of see how they do and, you know, load the engines up real good to make sure they don't spray oil all over the place or anything like that. It's just a good test where you can get things to kind of reveal themselves that wouldn't necessarily reveal themselves just sort of like putting around under low load, you know, on surface streets. So yeah, getting it on those hills, really good test, guys. And the car passed with flying colors, got back and did the dipstick test. The dipstick was, you know, very reasonable, even a little cooler even than I expected. So engine's running at a really nice temperature, and didn't see any signs of any oil, you know, spraying all over the place or anything like that. You know, it can happen if things aren't well ventilated or sealed, etc. But yeah, looked great, guys. Again, temperature felt great, everything. The only thing I did was I think the throttle cable itself might have been a little bit tight, because sometimes when you would like ease off the gas really slow and like coming to a stop sign, the idle would be a bit high. And then if you would kind of like pop the throttle to kind of give it some, I don't know, momentum, then it would go back to a you know, slightly like slower idle. So adjusted the throttle cable. That was literally it. So I'm gonna put some more miles on this one. I do want to drive it on the freeway. And then we have a small paint chip, oopsie, right there that we're gonna take care of. And yeah, so this car is supposed to leave later this week, and I don't really see any reason why that's not going to happen. And this guy is going to love this car. This thing is so much fun to drive now with that 1699cc little stroker motor with a little cam, little compression, single high rev springs. This thing is really fun, guys. Does not take much motor to make a Volkswagen fun to drive, because these cars don't weigh much. The car has, you know, about twice the horsepower now that it came with. This car, being a 64, came with a 40 horse. I think they dynoed this motor when Brothers Machine built it, and it made like 80 something. So yeah, double literally the horsepower this car came with. The gearing is changed so where the car can, you know, go faster, so to speak, now that it's got more power. So yeah, super fun to drive, guys. Love driving this car. Okay, so that was my morning. I can not decapitate myself here. And then actually also in the morning, I did a very small job, which I'll just show you here momentarily. Customer last week brought in a pair of vent wings for a bus that he already had painted and stuff that he asked if we could assemble. And I said, yeah, sure. He just dropped them off. I absolutely couldn't take the car, but he just dropped off a pile of parts. So he brought the glass, the frames. He bought new latches, which needed to be riveted in. And then he brought seals. The seals he brought were from West Coast Metric. So the rubber like strip that you put in here, And I don't know what, guys, it was, I noticed immediately the rubber strip was like very thin compared to the one we normally use, which is from Wolfsburg West. I was able to press the window into the frame without using the tooling. So normally we have these wooden things that are custom made here that we use with some big vices essentially to press the glass into the frames with the seals. I was able to just push these in by hand with the seals from West Coast Metric, and likewise I pretty much just held the frame in with one hand and grabbed the glass with the other. I was able to pull them right back out. So I don't know if West Coast Metric makes those seals to be glued in. I really don't know. And so pulled the one back apart that I had started to use their seals on, and luckily I had a couple Wolfsburg West seals on the shelf, and so pulled those out and pressed them together with the Wolfsburg West seals, and yeah, now these things are not coming apart on their own. They're very hard to get out, actually, once you press them in with those seals. Super, super tight fit. Anyway, so that was also part of my morning, putting those together for that customer. And then I turned my attention to this bad boy, the 60 Baja Bug here. And if you follow the channel, you know that initially went through and rebuilt his carburetors, which were dual ICTs. There they are. They were a mismatched pair. One of them had a pretty severely worn shaft on it, and so I couldn't really get it to run very well at all. So I suggested to the owner, you know what, let's just put a new pair of carburetors on it. So we ended up putting a whole new kit on it because the linkage that was on there was just kind of gross and everything about it. Plus, I really wanted to replace the manifold to head gaskets because I didn't know how well those were sealing up, on this kit, which had been on there for probably a very, very long time. So I had Jacob stripped all that stuff off last week, and then today picked up the kit and went ahead and started putting it on. It's pretty much on now. I have to connect the fuel lines, and I think that's actually it. Connect another plug wire or two and prime it and start it up. And then, yeah, so probably tomorrow I will be taking this thing for a test drive with its new pair of carburetors, and hope and think that it's going to run really good now. Because again, this little motor is super strong, guys. I couldn't get it to run well on the sort of low end of the circuit, and I think it was because the one carburetor, it was the right one, had a very, very severe leak at the shaft, and so I think that was just making it impossible to sort of tune out and get it to run well. So I think it's going to run really great now. I actually like these ICT or EPC, whatever. I don't even know what MP calls them. I just call them ICTs because that's what the Weber versions were called. But yeah, I like this carburetors a lot. For like a smallish motor, these little things pretty much rip. They run good. So those are actually what Jacob has on his 56 oval. And yeah, that little car rips. Anyway, so that's almost on. That was most of my day was putting those on, and went pretty smooth. Nothing really too unexpected. And of course, with that kit, you also have to remount the coil. So the kit does come with a coil mount that mounts kind of down there on the case and picks up the rear stud for the fuel pump. So that's kind of a pain in the ass to put in, but normally the coil is sitting on these two mounts right here, which you can't run it there because the hex bar goes right there. So the kit does come with the relocation bracket there, which works pretty well. And it's pretty clean setup. It's kind of down there out of the way. So anyway, probably be taking this pup for a test drive tomorrow, and I'm expecting and hoping for good things. And then after that, owner and I are sort of talking about doing a headliner and carpet and seats on this car, so we shall see. So I think that is all I have to talk about today, guys. The green 67 Beetle headliner is done, and now the sunroof is going together, and body work is continuing on the 72 Ghia. So that is, oh, actually, sorry, one last thing. I just got to show this because I'm very happy about it for my car, for my split window. So Eric from Garage Graphics came by earlier with his son, and he dropped this off for me. So this is the correct breastplate for a split window Beetle like mine, and my car doesn't have the right one on it now. So I was trying to hunt one down, and just so happened that Eric had a very nice reproduction of it, and he was generous enough to give me that. So yeah, very excited. Starting to collect parts to make the motor on my 52 split window more beautiful and correct. So very stoked about that. So thanks, Eric, if you see this. Okay, guys, so for real, that's it for today. So thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.